True. Nervous. Very, very dreadfully nervous I had been and am. But why will you say that I am mad? The spirit has sharpened my senses, not destroyed, not dulled them. How then am I mad? Silence, and observe how calmly I can tell you the whole story. Reason there was none. Passion there was none. I loved the old man. He had never wronged or insulted me. I think it was his duck. Yes, it was this. His spirit-splashed trophy resembled that of a cursed bird, a sinister avian creature. Whenever it stared at me, my blood ran cold, and so, by degrees, very gradually, I made up my mind to take the life of the old man and thus rid myself of the duck forever. Now this is the point. You fancy me mad. Madmen know nothing. But you should have seen me. You should have seen how wisely I proceeded, and with caution I went to work. I was never kinder to the old man than during the whole week before I had killed him. That night, I was most cautious in opening the door. A watch's minute hand moves more quickly than mine did. I had my head in, and was about to open the door, when my thumb slipped upon the wooden knob.
Who's there?
I kept quite still and said nothing. For a whole hour, I did not move a muscle, and in the meantime, I did not hear him lie down. I resolved to raise my light until at length a single ray, like the thread of a spider, shot out from the crevice and fell upon the glare of the duck. It was evil, 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 and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. I saw it perfectly, a yellow, with a hideous beak that chilled the very marrow in my bones. With a loud yell, I threw open the door and leaped into the room. The old man shrieked once, and only once. In an instant, I dragged him to the floor and pulled the heavy bed over him. For many minutes, the duck squeaked with a muffled sound. This, however, did not scare me. It would not be heard through the wall. At length it ceased. The old man was dead. I removed the bed and examined the corpse. Yes, he was stone dead. I placed my hand upon the duck and held it there for many minutes. There was no squeak. His duck would trouble me no more. I took up 3 planks from the ground of the bedroom and deposited the old man's corpse and his duck between the floorboards. I then replaced the boards so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human, not even his duck, could have detected anything wrong. There came a knocking at the door. I went down to open it with a light heart. 2 police officers entered. A shriek had been heard during the night, and the officers had been dispatched. I welcomed them. The shriek, I said, was in my own dream. The old man, I mentioned, was absent in the country. I took my visitors all over the house. I bade them to search well. The officers were satisfied. Suddenly, I felt myself getting pale. No doubt I grew very pale, yet the sound increased, and what could I do? Oh God, what could I do? It grew louder, and still the men, they smiled at me. They were making a mockery of my horror. Anything was better than this agony. I could bear their smiles no longer. I felt as if I must scream or die. No doubt I grew very pale, yet the sound increased, and what could I do? Oh God, what could I do? It grew louder and louder, and the men, they still smiled at me. They were making a mockery of my horror, and anything was better than this agony. I could bear their smiles no longer. I felt as if I must scream or die.
Villains, dissemble no more. I admit the deed. Here, tear up the blanks. It's the quacking of his hideous bird!